All right. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending where you are watching us from. Here in Zambia, it's 20 hours, so we are live again on Friday as we bring to you a program we call Ubuntu Sports. Every Friday, we bring you Ubuntu Sports. We just discuss everything that has to do with Zambian football. And on set tonight, I'm joined by Lameck. I'm sure he's also preparing himself for the festive week, and it's going to be a packed program. Lameck, it's Christmas time, but for us, football goes on.
Yeah, football goes on. I think with all programs put together, there's a lot to expect during the week. We have a number of league games coming up, and for the Zambian Super League, we also have updates that we won't be going on break. So it's a fully packed festive season. Uh, a lot of wishes to everyone who has been following us from the inception of this show. We've had people that have been consistent, that have got every show that we've held. Shout out to them. And then, for me, I can only wish them a Merry Christmas, and hope they enjoy this festive period.
Great. And to you, our viewers, you can join in on this program by typing in the comments on the various topics that we'll be discussing. And Lamek, let's start with the national team. We saw Aaron Grant drafting a 55 provisional squad for the upcoming AFCON, and the camp begins on the 26th, just after this weekend, after the Christmas. Were you satisfied with the team assembled by Grant so far?
Can you repeat the question again? I
All right.
didn't get you.
I was talking about the 55 provisional squad that uh, Grant has assembled for the upcoming AFCON. A lot of players that have been selected, a lot of goalkeepers, a lot of strikers, a lot of midfielders. Are you happy with the team that Grant has assembled, the 55-man squad?
Yeah, I'm very happy with the selection that Grant has put up. I think the majority of the players that we have, that I think have of acceptable quality to the national team. Yes, there are a few other players that we feel maybe would have been included. Maybe they didn't. I think Grant has a huge task ahead of him. Again, he doesn't just want to go to the AFCON just to, just be another number. I think his intention again is to go to the AFCON and try to compete, which for us should be, I think, should our main goal. We go to the AFCON and try to compete. Our regional squad, it will be trimmed down to like maybe 23 to about 23 or plus or minus 23 by 3rd January, when the final list will be compiled and submitted. So for all the players who are involved in league games, and I think this is time for them to show what they can offer to the coach, because again, the AFCON is coming at a very difficult time. We have league games going on across the globe, so it's difficult for players to leave their clubs and come and play at the AFCON, but it's a sacrifice that every African player has to make to represent their mother nation, leaving their clubs where a lot have been enjoying good form, with maybe one, two struggling. So for us, we just wish everyone who has been called up for the best and hope they make it to the final squad.
Four goalkeepers included in the squad. We've got Toaster, Francis, we've got Lawrence Mlenga. We also have the Charles Kalumba. Of these, only three will make it to the list. Who do you think uh, Grant will pick?
I think Francis would make the list. I think Lawrence would make the list. Kalumba, I don't know. Maybe between Kalumba and Francis, maybe there would be a question to who makes the list, because Lawrence has been, I think he's gotten some minutes at the national team, and in the minutes that he got, he proved or he showed enough quality that he can take charge of the number one spot. We've been struggling to find a new goalkeeper as replacement. For Francis, the stage was too big for him in the qualifiers. We saw what happened in the first match, the goals he conceded. Shout out the character that the boys showed coming from behind to equalize and win a match of that magnitude. But now it's up to Lawrence to step up. I think he's someone that, for everyone, a lot of us, the fans, are banking on him to take that number one spot. But who makes it of the four goalkeepers? Well, for that one, I don't know. We would have to wait for Grant to decide.
Right, and again, Mavika is in the headlines again. When you check the website for CAF, it's not been included. Any explanation why Ami Mavika is missing?
Well, I'm not too sure about his inclusion, or if he wasn't included, or if he made the provisional squad or not, because the squad that was announced by Faz had Mavika in it, and Faz are the ones that submit the list to CAF. So was it a typing error? For that, I have no response to that. I don't. For that, I really don't know. But for Mavika, I think earlier on, Grant had made some interesting comments about Mavika. But now it's about Mavika. What is he doing at the club? And whatever he's doing at the club is what will get him to the national team. So if he's on top performance at the club, I think he would be given a shot. But if he's not doing enough, then it's difficult for him to come and command a place in the team. So it's difficult, but for me, I have no information as to why he's not. His name is not appearing on the CAF website.
Another person that was making headlines is the inclusion of Miguel Chaiwa. Does that make you happy, Lameck? It was the last time Frank Avram Grant gave some explanation which most people were not happy with, but now he's included Miguel Chaiwa. Do you think now the team is being built by the fans?
It it would be too early to other players, because at the level we're playing, I think Miguel is not yet at that level yet. He's still developing. He's still in his development years. So even at young boys, look at the games that he's playing. People want to argue, he's playing against Man City, but how many league games has he played? How many minutes is he getting? Yeah, there are comparisons that come. No, Patson is not playing. No, blah blah blah. All those issues that are coming up. But the truth of the matter is that has Miguel played at the level that we are playing at? No, he hasn't. So we can't rush him. And that is one thing that we've, I think, made a lot of mistakes in the past, because we've rushed a lot of players and we've lost a lot of good talents. For me, I don't have a lot of expectations on Miguel. If he doesn't make the team, I'm happy. If he makes the team, I'm happy. If he doesn't make the team, it's up to him to go back to the club, continue putting in the performances, become a regular at the club, and then in the future, when he gets the opportunity, he will definitely prove to everyone. Because the same fans that are pushing for his inclusion, if he is given an opportunity tomorrow and fails to deliver, they're the same fans that will come back to him and bite him where it hurts the most. So, and this is one thing that we've seen with the national team. There are players that have gone to the national team, made a few mistakes, and they've never just been themselves again. They've never gotten a call up again. And at club level, they've just gotten messed up. And this is one thing that we need to protect these boys from. Let the coaches decide who is ready and who is not the fans. The fans, for our job is to support. It's okay for us the fans to pick on names. So include this guy. But the job of the coach is to ensure that the right players are picked for the right job. And if a player, no matter what they're doing at the club, they don't fit in the system of the coach. Because again, the coach has a system. He wants to play a certain way. He wants to attack a certain way, wants to defend a certain way. He wants a certain profile of players. So just because the player is doing well wherever they are, doesn't mean that it guarantees them a call up to the national team. Because they may not fit into the plans of the coach. In the past, we saw Kennedy Musonda at Power Dynamos, we saw Ronald Sate Kampamba at Nkana doing so much good work, but they never got regular call ups at the national team because the plans of the coach, those players did not fit in the plans of the coach. This may also be the case for some of the players. They may not fit in the plans of the coach. So it's something that we need to respect. For us, what Grant owes us is results. He doesn't owe us 90 minutes for Patson or 90 minutes for Chaiwa. What he owes us is results. And whatever he does to get those results, as long as he's helping us also transition, is something that is welcome. For me personally, it's something that is welcome. But we will judge Grant based on the results that he's going to give us.
Right. Also, what we saw in the news was that Faz had sent Wada Wada to Morocco to upgrade his license. Do you think this is an intentional deal for Faz so that Wada Wada can take over from Avram Grant? Is he the incoming coach for the Chipolopolo national team?
No, I don't think Watson Nyirenda going for CAF Pro license is, preparing to take over the national team. He's someone who's coached at the national team, so he has the pedigree, and he can, I think, in the right circumstances, he can take over the national team even without the pro license. But again, look at the association. The association also wants to ensure that we have coaches that are rightly trained with the right qualifications at the highest level. Look at the other nations already have coaches with the pro licenses, the Piso Mosimanis, and a lot of other coaches around that have pro licenses. And in Zambia, we don't have one. So initially, we were supposed to get two with Coach Bruce Mwape, but unfortunately, CAF didn't have the Moroccan FA didn't have enough space, so they only we go to Wedson. For me, for Wedson, these are people that you educate them so that they become future educators of our people. So when Wedson goes there, gets his pro license, he can come back and again and transmit the knowledge that he's gained from the pro license to the other coaches in the league. And also, FAS also has to stand on its own and have the right people with the right qualifications and start holding some of these trainings, the CAF B, CAF A courses. And this can only be done if we have coaches like Wedson who have the pro license. These are coaches that may come in and be facilitators of some of these programs that FAS hasn't been doing for quite a number of years. And it has led to most of our coaches just ending on CAF B. We have a lot of coaches on CAF B, but we have very few coaches on CAF A. So we need people like Wedson to go for trainings, take up roles like facilitators, and come back and let's start our own programs. I think that may actually be the idea behind him going, not necessarily him coming to take over the national team. I don't think so.
All right. That's great analysis because most of the people are thinking once Faz can't just be spending money on Wada Wada for nothing. Maybe they're preparing for him to take over from Avram Grant. But you've given us your position. Let's move forward. Let's look at the women's team. One of the teams that is doing great and lifting the Zambian flag high because they are doing so much and one of the news that came in this December is them qualifying to the uh, uh, Women's Africa Cup of Nations once again, and to be held in Morocco next year. And not just qualifying, but with a big margin, 6-0 in Angola, 6-0 at home. What do you make of the Copper Queens in the 2023, Lameck?
I think the Copper Queens have performed above expectations. Their rise has been so rapid, and then this is something that has come under a very few years, and then they're at a level where there's no going back now. So what I think they've made the country proud. Even the men's team have been challenged to, I think, also start putting in performances, because the ladies can do it, the men can also do it. But again, for the Copper Queens, one thing we shouldn't forget is the influence that Coach Bruce Mwape has had on the rise of this team. He's been the man holding the mantle to this team. He's been the man that has been around and helped this team transition to the level where it is. So we can't talk about the Copper Queens success without talking about a coach like Bruce Mwape. A lot of criticism came in the past, but today he's done what no Zambian coach has done for the Copper Queens, no Zambian coach has done for Zambian football. So it's something that we would also have to thank the players. Give a shout out to players that have, I think, carried the team on their shoulders when it needed people to take up those roles. We have had the Barbara Banda, the Kundananjis, the Lucio Momwembas, the Haze Onalis, who have gone out of their way, putting key performances to ensure that the team reaches that level. I think the standard we've set, we can't go back. So for us, the next thing, I'm happy that FAS has also organized the FAS Women's League, and we've seen quite a number of players breaking into the national team from the Women's League. So that is a good background. We we have a lot of work to do on that team. We are not yet at the level that we need to be. We need to improve. So this is also something that we need to continue doing, continue improving, continue identifying gaps in the team, and then until we become one of Africa's biggest powerhouses. And once we reach that level, we need to ensure that we stay as a powerhouse for the longest time we can. Because right now, yes, we are doing so much, but against the big countries in the world, we tend to struggle. So we need to also, continue polishing that team up. They've done us proud, but we have a lot of homework to do. And this is one thing we shouldn't forget. Yes, we are learning, but we need to now start setting a standard for ourselves. Can we get to that level? Yes, we can get to that level. And what will help us is continuously improving and ensuring that the leagues that feed into the national team, that feed players into the national team, continue getting stronger and stronger. Then we'll get there. A lot of countries started where we are. Maybe they are even worse than we are. So there's so much hope for us, and hope we continue on the same path that we are on.
Let's talk about the award that was won by Kundananji during the week, Go 50, alongside Lino Messi. Oof, big award for the Copper Queen.
Yeah, a very big award, not only for Kundananji, but for Zambia, and also for Africa. She's the first African to win that award. So it is a recognition of her performances in the, in the Liga F in Spain. So she's someone who's carried a team, Madrid CFF. She's carried the team on her shoulders throughout last season. She came out, second best scorer, ahead of, players such as Asisa Oshola, who's been fantastic for Barcelona. But this is one thing that, should inspire a lot of our girls. Look at Barbara Banda, the level she's at, and then look at Kundananji, a girl that, many didn't give a chance. Many criticized badly, but against all odds, she's fighting her way through. And now the world is recognizing to say, okay, we have this one player from Zambia who's doing exceptionally for her club and for Africa. And she's raising Zambia's flag high. And this is what we need. We need a lot of our players putting in performances, winning these awards. Because the more our players win these awards, the more our football grows. Because the more clubs that get interested in getting players from us. Look at the players that we have. The Kundananjis, the Barbaras, the Grace Chandas. If those players are doing well, they're winning awards internationally. What that will mean is that more clubs will come and look for players from our league, and that will in turn benefit, our league and our clubs. So it's something that we should, continue praising. I think for Kundananji, it's something that she deserves a big hand of applause for what she's done, and let her continue on the same path that she's on.
And also on the other side, let's talk about Xiomara Mapepa. Not a good headline to see, but a lot of things have been going on. But it seems last weekend we were told that she didn't travel with the team going to Chipata. She excused herself from the team. Then we saw an interview that she had with Bola News, something that she highlighted that the club also responded that she was training and that she's not owed anything, and actually she's up for sale. Lameck, you covered that news. Just bring us up to speed of what really transpired.
There are two sides of every coin. So it's the same thing with Mapepa. It's something that has been that I think it's been long overdue. The sale of Siomala Mapepa. I think it's something that has been long overdue for elite ladies. And this is one thing that it's difficult to manage players because there are always two sides to every coin. There's a club side and then there's a player side. So now, if you look at the statement that the club had brought to say the player had withdrawn herself from traveling for a match because she had not trained the whole week and all that. So now, this is something that we also need to look at. Is it something that do we have any issues going on in the background that we are not being told? For me, I think I have so much respect for the elite ladies. They've kept an open door policy for any of their players. If there's interest, the first thing they'll do a market valuation. They'll put a price tag on the player, and the player is free to go if a club comes and does what and meets the price tag. But for Mapepa, like the club had highlighted to say, there's been a lot of talk, clubs interested in her services, but the clubs haven't used the proper communication. They've talked to the player, they've disregarded that she's a player who's on contract with the elite ladies. And, this is something that, again, on the club side, it's something that, at the end of the day, you may end up losing out after investing so much in a player. So the easiest is, it's common in Europe. It's common in Europe for clubs to put players on loan or on sale. They'll publicly say to say, okay, these players that we have listed, we'll put them on a loan list. We're open to loaning them out. Or these players that we've listed down, we're open to selling them. So for Mapepa, it's not something new. It's something that has been happening. But for Zambian football, I think it's something new to Zambian football. For me, I think for Mapepa, it's something that doesn't require so much intervention. It's something that is it's okay wherever it is. For me, my hope is that maybe she continues to just continue focusing. She's been fantastic for her club. So if she continues to focus, I think she can get a very good deal going forward.
All right, let's bring it to the ZSL. A lot of things are happening. Let's go direct to Nkana. Nkana, we saw a big headline also today that they've dropped their exco and they've constituted a new or interim exco. Do we see now a shift in terms of results? Do you think it was the exco that caused Nkana to be in the relegation zone?
Big clubs always have these issues. Uh, who is the problem? Trying to pinpoint who is the problem. I think the problem at Tinkana isn't the exco or the players. I think the problem at Tinkana is just the financial resource that the club has. I think this is something that has been ongoing for quite some time. The club has been struggling financially. They are not as financially standing as they were a couple of seasons ago. And then, this has affected them. Affected them in terms of player acquisition. They've not been able to get players that meet the profile that Ghana has. So that has also led now to poor performances that have been coming in, and where the club is now struggling in the red zone, which a lot of us didn't picture that Ghana at this point will be rooted in the bottom four. So the change of exco, can it bring good results? I think it would have little impact to results, unless if the impact would be financial. If the impact is financial, then possibly a change would come. But if there's no change financially and it's just changing, different people, bringing different people, I think we may not see so much change in how the club performs. And then again, because look, January is coming, Ghana has to recruit, but where's the money that they'll use to get players that will help them, I think, survive relegation? So those are some of the issues. I'm happy for the exco that has come. The exco that was there, I'm sad because there were people that kept an open door policy. They were very open with the fans. They're all very open with stakeholders. I hope the ones that have come in again can also continue being open to the fans, being open to a lot of stakeholders in bringing up ideas on how the club can improve.
So talking about Ghana, they're in Lusaka this weekend, and they're at Sunset Stadium where they're visiting Zanaco. Both teams have some bad results. Let's talk about Zanaco. Zanaco have gone 3 games without a win, two losses, one draw. Fonkana in the last 3 games won one loss or one draw. How do you look at this game to be played tomorrow at Sunset Stadium? It's Zanaco versus Nkana.
Sunset Stadium has always been a difficult hunting ground for Ghana. The last few matches at Sunset Stadium between the two clubs has mostly gone in favor of Zanaco FC. And looking
Remind me,
at Ghana,
just remind me, is it the same? This is the same fixture last time when they played. There was the pitch was waterlogged and Zanaco carried the day.
not really. I think the biggest highlight over the last few fixtures was Ghana being denied a goal late in the match, and also Zanaco winning 1-0, and then a fight almost broke out between Alex Ngonga and also some referees and other officials. I think that was one of the most controversial matches that has been played between the two clubs. But take nothing away from Ghana, take nothing away from Zanaco. Yes, they've struggled. Everything that has happened in the past, but there's something about big games. Big games always live up to expectation. But for Ghana, something is that they've struggled at Sunset. They are going in with Ian Bakala. Can he do some magic? Well, it may be too early to say, but it will be up to how both teams apply themselves on the day. History has a part in it, but I don't think it may be as influential as both clubs applying themselves well and fighting to get a positive result.
All right, let's look at the Zesco game. Zesco is dominant so far this season, and that on top of the league, even if Arrows won today, but they they're still leading with some good points ahead of Arrows, some good 3 or 4 points. But tomorrow they play against Mufrida Wanderers, who are searching for a win. In the last 5 games that they've played, they've only won one. The rest they've lost 3 and drawn 1.
Zesco Andras has always been a tough match. History proves that this match has always been tough. But Zesco has a couple of majority times carried the day, especially when it's being played at Levy. So for Maite, that loss to Power was a huge defeat. It was their first defeat at home. And then they face a Zesco team that is enjoying very good form, and they will be coming in for 3 points. And Maite, looking at their form in the last 5 games, 1 win out of 5, it's difficult. When you're in a bad patch, it's not only about it also has to do with the mental side of things. Are players in a good place mentally? That's some of the contributing factors that contribute to poor results by clubs. So might also have to look at that part of themselves to say, okay, are our players in a good place mentally? So before even committing to, I think, taking on Zesco, because that is a big match and it's mentally draining. So we need to make sure that, okay, are these players in a good place mentally? Their physical shape and everything. And these are decisions that at the end of the day, clubs tend to rush and fire a coach after poor results, but they don't really pay attention to a lot of these details. So for the club, let them go back to the drawing board, reorganize themselves, look at where the problem may be, and try to find a solution. And we'll see Maite coming back again and I think competing favorably.
Right. Before we go on to talk about two fixtures, one is the Cabo Warriors Musa game. Cabo Warriors, after struggling, they picked up maximum point last week. Same with Musa. Musa traveled to Cabo tomorrow. It's going to be Cabo Warriors versus Musa in Kabwe, and both teams really want to win because they want to qualify for continental football. Who will carry the 3 points on this fixture? And the other fixture that I want to talk about is the Power Dynamos versus NAPSA. Power Dynamos also not consistent, though they're the defending champions. We saw them picking up maximum points last week, and we saw NAPSA Stars drawing new with Concola Blades. Again, I want you to talk about this game, then we can wrap it up.
We start with the FC Musa match. FC Musa have proven time and again that they're not pushovers. I think they're here to compete, and then they've shown this season all out that they are here to compete. Last season they went to Kabwe, beat Cabo Warriors 2-1. So now it's up to Cabo Warriors to step up. Cabo Warriors hasn't been in good form lately. Yes, they are coming from a win. They beat Nkana 1-0 last weekend. Now they face a Musa team that is also coming from a win after beating, Kansashi Dynamos 1-0. They were also from a bad patch where they had struggled to get results. It's a difficult match for both teams. For Cabo Warriors, it's something that has to do with the confidence. Are they in a, are they very confident enough to push a result against Musa? Because Musa are coming in to compete. They'll fight for every ball and fight to get a result. And for Numba, I think he's proven that he's a good coach, though, he's faced a very bad patch over the last few games when everyone saw that Warriors was easily booking a ticket to Absa. He hit a stumbling block, struggled a little, but I'm sure he's ready to get his ship stable again and start grinding results like he has been doing prior to the bad patch. For Power Dynamos, NAPSA, tricky match. Looking at Perry being a former Power coach and Power being under the leadership of Linus Makwaza. Last week they played really good football. They played fantastic against Wanderers. They dominated play from the onset. Again, coming to the NAPSA game, NAPSA have been on the rise. I think they've picked up form. Before that, they were struggling to get results. Yes, history has a tendency to repeat itself. Last matches between Perry, whatever team Perry has coached, and he's traveled to Power, most times, it's been a difficult hunting ground for him. But this time around, he has to. I think it's up to Perry again to see how he can tweak things around and possibly get a result at Power. But Power again won't want to miss this chance because the APSA Cup is within touching distance for them, so they need a result to guarantee that APSA spot.
Thank you, Lameck, and thank you, Emmanuel, who is doing the direction of this program. Want to thank you, our viewers, also for watching us live. We'll come again last week to do it for the last time in the year 2023. For now, this is where we end this week's episode of Ubuntu Sports. Enjoy your Christmas and have some good time with your families. Good night and God bless you.